Lord, make thy beauty to be my food, and thy presence my drink, and thy pleasure my hope, and praise of thee my action, and remembrance of thee my companion, and the power of thy sovereignty my succorer, and thy habitation my home, and my dwelling place, the seed thou hast sanctified from the limitations imposed upon them who are shut out as by a veil from thee, upon them who are shut out as by a veil from thee, upon them who are shut out as by a veil from thee, upon them who are shut out as by a veil from thee.
Welcome to the New York City Bahá'í Center. We're delighted to have you here for this evening for this very special event. Today, of course, we're commemorating the 200th anniversary of the birth of the Bab. It says here it's a once-in-a-lifetime occasion, but I think it's actually a once-only occasion, right? My name is Douglas Hink. This is Josephine Lau, and we are pleased to be here as your co-MCs for this evening. And before I turn it over to Josephine, let me just ask if you do have a telephone, please put it on silent or turn it off. If your watch ticks too loudly, you might consider putting that in your pocket. And let's try to have the program uninterrupted. Josephine?
Thank you so much, Doug. I'd like to also extend a very warm welcome to each of you. Thank you for coming here. This is a very important time. This week, in countless settings and in places all around the world, people are celebrating the 200th anniversary of the Bab. Doug and I will share a few words with you about the Bab, the Bahá'í Faith, and what you can expect to experience in the just over an hour that we have together tonight.
Thank you, Josephine. 2 centuries ago, this very week in October of 1819, in the city of Shiraz, Iran, the Bab was born. This was during one of the most turbulent periods in history. When Bab was 25 years old, just 25 years old, he proclaimed that he was the bearer of a new message, a message destined to transform the life of humanity. The Bab announced that a new period in human history had begun, one which would witness the unification of the entire human race and the emergence of a world civilization of both spiritual and material prosperity. His exciting message of spiritual transformation and renewal brought hope to people from every walk of life, and thousands of people began to follow the Bab's teachings. Those people who followed the Bab were called Babis, and the Bab's faith is considered an independent religion. And although so many people accepted the Bab, many others felt insecure. They felt threatened by his growing influence, and they set out to destroy not only him, but also his followers. And as a result, the Bab was banished from city to city, from prison to prison, but none of the plans his enemies devised could prevent his influence from spreading. Each time his enemies thought that they had extinguished the flame of his influence, the authorities merely added fuel to his life-giving light. In time, the Bab's popularity grew to such an extent that some prominent clergymen appealed to the government to have the Bab executed. But the Bab did not stop spreading his message. He conveyed to everyone that, in fact, he had a very special mission.
So what was that special mission? The Bab's mission, which was to last only 6 years, was to prepare the way for the coming of a new manifestation of God, who would usher in the age of peace and justice promised in all the world's religions. The Bab wanted to prepare his followers to recognize the manifestation of God anticipated in religious scriptures throughout the ages of human history. he told his followers to purify their hearts so that they could recognize the promised one of all ages, for whom the whole world was waiting. The Bab's name means the gate, and so the Bab was the door or the gate through which this long-awaited promised one would appear.
And the name of this promised one, this new manifestation of God, is Bahá'u'lláh. Bahá'u'lláh means the glory of God, and to be a Baha'i means to be a follower of the glory, a follower of Bahá'u'lláh. Baha'is believe in the fundamental truths that Bahá'u'lláh authored, such as a oneness of God, a oneness of religion, and the oneness of the entire human family. He set out an uncompromising standard. If religion becomes a source of disagreement or disunity, it is best to do without it. The teachings of Bahá'u'lláh proclaim unified principles.
And among these unifying principles are the independent search after truth, the elimination of all forms of prejudice, the harmony which must exist between religion and science, the equality of men and women, who are the two wings on which the bird of humankind is able to soar, and the abolition of the extremes of wealth and poverty. Baha'u'lláh proclaimed that the foundational spiritual principle of our time, really the pivotal principle of the Bahá'í Faith, is the oneness of the entire human race. 200 years after the Bab was born, we celebrate his influence, including his announcement of the coming of Baha'u'lláh.
It is an interesting confluence of historical facts that immediately following the Bab's announcement in Shiraz, at the same time halfway around the world, Samuel Morse was sending his very first Morse code from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore. For the first time in human history, a message was sent instantly from one city to another. That message, what hath God wrought? It's as if mankind had been given two means of communication at the very same time. The declaration of the Bab opened up the way for humanity to be unified in a spiritual sense. And the advancement in telecommunications, starting with that very first Morse code message, opened up the way for unprecedented development in science and technology that has unified the world.
Indeed, Doug, it's a very exciting time. And today we have an equally great hour ahead of us. We'll hear prayers shared by members of the community. We'll enjoy some music. We'll watch a play called The Prisoner about a period in the Bab's life. And we'll watch a short video of the influence of these teachings on the hearts of people around the world.
Thank you again for being here this evening to celebrate this momentous occasion. We do hope you all enjoy the program. We'll start with an opening prayer, after which the singer will come. The words are in your booklet, and if you feel so moved, please feel encouraged to sing along.
O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Bahá'u'lláh.
I adore thee by thy might, O my God. Let no harm beset me in times of test, and in moments of heedlessness guide my steps aright through thine inspiration. I adore thee by thy might, O my God. Let no harm beset me in times of test, and in moments of heedlessness guide my steps aright through thine inspiration. adjure thee by thy might, O my God. Let no harm beset me in times of test, and in moments of heedlessness, guide my steps aright through thy inspiration. Thou art God, potent art thou, to do what thou desirest. No one can withstand thy will or thwart thy I adjure thee by thy might, O my God. Let no harm beset me in times of test, and in moments of heedlessness, guide my steps aright through thy inspiration. Thou art God, potent art thou, to do what thou desirest.
Smells good.
Watch it. They catch you sitting again. You'll feel it this time.
You watch it. I can take the smell. If he won't eat it, then I will.
Every day like this. It's his food. If he doesn't want it, it's not our business. My job is to give it to him and make sure it's for him only.
What about the flies? Huh? I don't see you harassing the flies. Oh, I guess the flies are exempt. Royal flies, eat what you want. But the starving boss, who works for his keep, isn't allowed a chickpea?
Idiot. This is our last shift. Can we at least get through this last hour?
Fine by me. I don't like or enjoy your company anyway. We never socialize outside of these walls. And to tell you the truth, you always smell of mildew. There, I said it.
Enough! Enough!
Well, now you did it. Who would want to eat chickpeas smooshed by your smelly, dirty boot?
Nope. Help me clean this up.
You go ahead and clean up the holy man's uneaten food. Yeah, it must be nice to be able to refuse food, huh? What a luxury. What a sham he is, I say. Hey, Gazi, what's the word? A hypocriter. A hypocriter.
No! Hypocrite!
Try refusing food when you're begging in the streets like I did before I joined the guard. Your holy ideals go out the window when faced with starvation. Why wouldn't he just eat? You know, if I came across him when I was eating out of rubbish bins, he wouldn't last a night with this talk of God. I rob him of everything. The nice pen of his, the letter case, and the nice
Shut up! Do you care that this man's friends have been slaughtered all over the country? Dragged through the streets? Beheaded?
I wasn't one of those details.
You were?
A miserable slaughter.
You never mentioned it before.
It isn't something you mention.
And your heart doesn't move? That he cries every night? All through the night. About his friends. Thanks God. He writes tirelessly to his God. Have you ever listened to him pray?
I'd rather listen to the flies buzz. Oh, look. They're happy now. I guess someone's getting fed. We fed the flies. I think you take this job a little bit too seriously, Gazi. I do. You know a dummy could do what we do?
That's for sure. I'm looking at one right now. You blinked. I win.
Hey, Gazi. Why do you care about this Bob? Huh? I never known you to be a believer in anything but the rules. With your slicked hair, your uniform all buttoned up and mended, But you still could use a little shower, I tell you that.
I don't smell a boss. That's your own scent. A dog knows his own. And I'm not a believer in God or what have you. It's too much suffering to believe in a God. But I've seen the townspeople gather to catch a glimpse of the Bab. I've seen them wait in long lines at the public bath to be the first to climb into his bathwater, hoping it will heal them. I've seen love and hope in people's eyes as he takes his daily walk through the yard. And I've seen his grief. I know about that.
If you stand up to a fist, you get punched. So I don't. You should try ducking next time, Ghazi.
What would you know?
Are you crying?
No.
You are crying.
Not. I'm not.
Let me see.
No.
Let me see. I'm not crying. No, I'm not crying.
Shut it! Thank you. The Bab talks of equality, you know. Men, women, equal. No beatings. No slavery. Equal.
Don't tell my wife that. She will want to sit around all the time. She will want to take her veil off. I'd sooner cut my neck than watch that happen.
Oh, me too. Could you imagine women doing what we do?
Ah! They will want to sit around and do nothing and talk about girly things? Like clothing?
And beatings.
And cooking?
And suffering.
See, Ghazi? That is why this man is really locked up in here. Nobody wants that. What good is all that talk? It can't change anything. There's an order. An order we follow. Everyone knows their place. You can't change that.
Maybe you can. Maybe you should.
Good luck with that. Look what happened to the Bab's friends. They sacrificed them like goats in the streets.
Did you do such a thing?
We marched far toward a fort filled with Babis. Everyone talked about how treasonous their teachers were. How this man, the Bab, was poisoning our society. I started to fill with rage myself. I wanted to stomp them out. I wanted to fight men. I entered the fort right behind the first line of soldiers. I couldn't really see anything yet, but the order to fire was called. The first line of soldiers kneeled down. I raised my rifle. A woman fell down to the floor. I don't know if it was me that hit her. It didn't matter. After the smoke cleared, I walked towards the woman, the one I shot. Her veil had come off. I saw her face. It was filled with this pure joy I've never seen before in anyone dying. No suffering, no begging for life, just peace. I think about that woman a lot and what I did. They were killed to keep things the same. I killed. The butt was changed, so they sent him to this remote hall on the side of a mountain to rot.
Do you want a change? What would you change?
Nothing.
There must be something. Go ahead. It passes the time.
I like a silk hat. Another wife. Food. Like what the Shah eats. You know, my baby girl, she's hungry all the time.
It must be a joy to have a child.
Well, she won't get to go to school. She will learn how to read. If she's lucky, she will end up fighting with men over a cold plate of food. Without a voice, beaten by her husband.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah.
And the mullahs talk about God and Muhammad.
Morning prayer. We will be done soon.
What will they do to the Bab? What do you think?
I hear they will execute him.
I won't be doing that.
What do you mean?
I won't be doing that, I said.
You?
What?
The big tough Abbas won't be killing the holy man.
No.
Wow. You would disobey an order.
I don't believe in killing this man. What? You heard me, and can you please keep it down?
Why?
I don't know.
I am the promised one. What if he is?
There's something in me I can't put my finger on. try to wrap my mind around it, but it's a strong feeling like wanting to hold your daughter at night. You know, I've heard him say, I beg thee to forgive me for every mention but the mention of thee, and for every praise but the praise of thee, and for every delight but delight in thy nearness. Whoever would implore such a thing, I have not put into the death. I would never beg for such a thing, for such a silly thing. I'll mention so many things I'd rather have before God, like bread and wine, a woman, a bed, a happy child, sunrise over the mountains, peace in the valley, a chicken, a friend, a mother, equality. Anyways, I would run if they asked me to do such a thing.
And I will run with you.
He only speaks of love. A divine breeze blowing through the trees. He never hurt anyone. Who are they to decide?
Let us decide.
Let us.
They will probably shoot us as well.
Probably.
You, go ahead.
Me and you both. Eat. Please.
You must eat.
Gloria. My daughter.
For me.
For though you may be a prisoner,
I feel you can set us free.
The popularity of the Baha grew to such an extent that the authorities thought there was no other way to stop him but rather to execute him. So in 1850, the order for his execution was issued and the Baha was killed. The authorities thought they had snuffed out the life of the Baha, but really with his execution, a new power had been released into the world. He had made a decisive break from the past and had prepared the way for the coming of Bahá'u'lláh.
And in 1863, Bahá'u'lláh declared that he is the great divine educator, heralded by the Baal. The fire lit by the Baal was rekindled and fanned into a flame by Bahá'u'lláh, a flame that has since spread all across the world of humanity. Now, we'll watch a short video clip that shows how neighbors, friends, and families around the world are bringing service to their communities through the teachings of the Bab and Bahá'u'lláh.
All the problems that we are facing collectively as humanity is like a sickness. And the revelation of Baha'u'lláh is that remedy. It is going to impart life. And so we have to take it upon ourselves and put it into action.
A mature tree is one that produces fruits for others to benefit. One of the signs of maturity is service to others. So in the same way, humanity also has become of age and has reached its level of maturity right now. So it is in that context that also what we do here is try to be of service to mankind. And this group that I work with is learning how they can advance knowledge in terms of food production so that this community around us can benefit from that knowledge.
Por mucho tiempo, incluso a nosotros nos daba miedo venir aquí, porque no conocíamos a los vecinos, no había nadie que estuviera como participando en las actividades. Y una vez que empezamos a encontrar a algunos jóvenes y ellos empezaron a tener sus propias actividades básicas, el mismo entorno empezó a participar y dejar entrar entonces a desconocidos a su barrio. De a poco uno se da cuenta ese sentimiento de seguridad que uno tiene y la fácil como interacción que puede lograr con cualquier vecino del barrio, cosa que hace 5 años atrás no podíamos tener. Los mismos vecinos se levantan a servir, traen a sus hijos a las actividades, están preocupados por los hijos de toda la comunidad, no solo de su propia familia.
Hacer estas actividades en la comunidad es increíble porque uno puede darse cuenta cómo los niños van cambiando. Y cuando pasan los niños, eso se va hacia todo el barrio y se expande. Y eso es lo que queremos hacer, ¿no? Llevar todo el mensaje de Bahá'u'lláh, de la unidad, a todo el mundo. De la transformación individual, espiritual y llevar el servicio a nuestras vidas. Yo creo que no vería mi vida sin el servicio. Creo que estaría como incompleta.
Desde que el templo fue abierto, la población empezó a acercarse a él de una forma tan dramática, por decirlo de alguna forma. Las oportunidades entonces que tenemos para acercar a un alma hacia la revelación de Bahá'u'lláh son infinitas. Independiente de los esfuerzos que nosotros hacemos por acercar a la revelación de Bahá'u'lláh a la población, Bahá'u'lláh ya está haciendo su relación con cada una de las almas de Santiago. Y eso es algo que nosotros no podemos frenar.
Brillando entre las gentes de la tierra, la tierra.
They concept of worship is something that is united in the writings of Bahá'u'lláh and the Bab with service. The Bab says the days when idol worship were deemed sufficient have ended, and that the time has come when not but the purest motive supported by deeds of stainless purity would be acceptable unto him. The vision of this house of worship is one in which people come in to say prayers from every background, from every walk of life, but also they flow out of this temple to go and to do deeds that are of service to humankind.
Several months ago, I actually didn't really know what the Bahá'í Faith was. So I went to the temple for the first time and was so moved by being there that I wanted to learn more. So I met as many people as I could. I went to devotionals, and that's how I met this community. And they told me about the work they were doing in the neighborhood, and it just, to me, was the most obvious way to work towards unity and peace, starting at the community level and really working towards making the world a better place. So I felt like I had to get involved in that.
I was on a search trying to understand religion, and I went up to the house of worship and sat in and listened to the program that was presented. Basically, it speaks to me about this vision of who we are as individuals and as a collective. We're one human family, not separate races. It has to be a spiritual solution to this issue.
And many people, when they come to this temple and they feel the spirit when they walk in through the doors, they want to know how can they, replicate that in their own neighborhood, in their own community. Baha'is and their friends have been trying to learn about this for some time, where they bring together anyone in their neighborhood, anyone on their block, into their homes to say prayers, to converse about the needs of their community, and then to go and try to build capacity so that they can be of service to those needs in the community.
So this message that Bahá'u'lláh brings is the educational tool to bring us out of this darkness.
The teachings of Bahá'u'lláh and the Bab have a very special resonance in the context of Northern Ireland. It's a society that has been divided along religious lines from its beginning. We drove through two communities that very strongly mark their territory by the symbols in the neighborhood and saying, this is us. You must identify with this particular allegiance. In the context of Belfast, the hub is very significant because it stands for something that tries to connect people to something that is for everyone.
So do you remember we were talking about thankfulness and being thankful and what we're thankful for? Oh yeah, you do. You remember. Do you not remember we made our
It's
job?
a very diverse neighbourhood, and many of the people who live here are young people, and they've seen glimpses of what it can be for people to work together. We've been trying to make it beautiful, so it'll also be a place that people can come and feel the spirit of what the physical building represents, which is that so powerful is the light of unity, it can illuminate the whole earth.
In our process of inviting the friends in that local area to come to the hub, what's behind it is the oneness of humanity. That's the motivating principle.
What we're trying to do is work with young people who can get a vision for a future for Northern Ireland that can be unified.
Everybody swing your partner.
The fundamental teaching of Baha'u'lláh is the oneness of humanity. Your primary allegiance is to humanity, and that it must supersede, your allegiance to your nation or to your tribe.
A big finish.
विगत 3 वर्षदेखि हामीले सेवा गर्दै आएका छौँ। गाउँका सबै बुद्धिजीवी, समाजसेवी र व्यापारीहरू र त्यहाँको स्थानीय सामुदायिक बैंक र बहाई बालकक्षाका अभिभावक र उहाँका प्यारेन्ट्सहरू आउनुभएको छ। उहाँहरूले यो हामीलाई मद्दत गरिराख्नु भएको छ।
वाकई चूंत है तो मैं ही गो है 2054 साल से भलमनसा हूँ आज तक ले जाके हमारे जब बहाई कार्यक्रम आओ है तो मैं भलमनसा को बुलाई तो जा में हमारे जो बहाई धर्म जो लगो है यहाँ हमारे कंज गांव में तो हमारे गांव में मैं भलमनसा के बहुत सुविधा मिलो है। सुरक्षा ऐसे है, सलाह सुझाव हम शिक्षा द्वारा हम जो गांव को विकास करेंगे और अपनों प्रगति बढ़ाए करके।
बालकक्षामा आएर अनि आध्यात्मिक शिक्षाहरू सिक्नु पनि जरुरी छ। कसरी इमानदार बन्ने, कसरी सत्यताको बाटोमा हिँड्ने अनि कसरी सहनशील बन्ने।
अब जैसे माला जाति र जैसे माला समुदाय अलग अलग नहीं है कि हम एक हैं करके विश्व के मानव जैसे माला एक हैं करके माला जो है अनुभव हो रही है। जैसे माला जो एक बहुत बड़ो विकास
बाहाउल्लाहले जुन शिक्षाहरू दिनुभएको छ, जुन सिद्धान्तहरू जुन दिनुभएको छ, जुन ज्ञानहरू दिनुभएको छ, जसले गर्दाखेरि उनीहरूको जुन बोलीहरूमा, उनीहरूको व्यवहारमा, उनीहरूको कार्यमा, उनीहरूको दैनिक जीवनमा धेरै नै हामीले त्यसरी रूपान्तरण भएको हामी पाइरहेका छौँ।
نرى الانجذاب الحقيقي نحو الجمال لما كثير من الناس من مختلف الأديان مختلف الثقافات يأتون كجامعة واحدة متعاضدة أن نرى تعاليم حركة سكان كاملة نحو رؤية حضرة بهاء الله. الشيء الحقيقي واللا بد منه هو المحبة. المحبة اللي شارك بها كل أفراد المجتمع. المحبة
peoples of the earth, verily the resplendent light of God hath appeared in your midst, invested with this unerring book, that ye may be guided aright to the ways of peace, and by the leave of God step out of the darkness into the light, and onto this far extended path of truth.
So at the end of that video displayed the beautiful location on Mount Carmel in Haifa, Israel, where the Bab's remains are today. He was executed in 1850 and spent several decades. The Friends hid him until finally in 1909, the Bab's remains were placed at that top of that Mount Carmel. Today entombed in an exquisite golden dome shrine, encompassed by spectacular terraced gardens and fountains, the Bab rests in glory, a symbol of the triumph of the cause that he heralded over the fiercest of opposition. Throughout the world, millions recognize the Bab and Bahá'u'lláh as the twin manifestations of this day. And in fact, this very week we also celebrate the birthday of Bahá'u'lláh, who was born 2 years and 1 day apart from the Bab.
Inspired by the principle of the oneness of humankind, Baha'is believe that the advancement of unified world civilization will require the contributions of each and every one of us. The efforts of the Baha'i community to contribute to this movement are finding expression today all around the world, and in New York City as part of this global movement. For over 100 years, Baha'is in New York City have been working to put into action the message of unity, and of service to humanity. Throughout neighborhoods in the area, the community is leading activities to elevate the spiritual character of the community. Activities such as children's classes, empowerment workshops for young adults, and study circle for adults. These activities are open to all, and we welcome you to join them. As you exit the center, you'll find a table with more information on activities that we may participate in. Thank you again so much for joining us here this evening. And before we conclude, we'll have a closing prayer. Thank you again.
From the sweet-scented streams of thine eternity, give me to drink, O my God, and of the fruits of the tree of thy being, enable me to taste, O my hope. From the crystal springs of thy love, suffer me to quaff, O my glory, and beneath the shadow of thine everlasting providence, let me abide, O my light. Within the meadows of thy nearness, before thy presence, make me able to roam, O my beloved, and at the right hand of the throne of thy mercy seat me, O my desire. From the fragrant breezes of thy joy, let a breath pass over me, O my goal, and into the heights of the paradise of thy reality, let me gain admission, O my adored one. To the melodies of the dove of thy oneness, suffer me to hearken, O resplendent one, and through the spirit of thy power and thy might quicken me, O my provider. In the spirit of thy love keep me steadfast, O my succorer, and in the path of thy good pleasure set firm my steps, O my maker. Within the garden of thine immortality, before thy countenance, let me abide forever, O thou who art merciful unto me. And upon the seat of thy glory establish me, O thou who art my possessor. To the heaven of thy loving kindness lift me up, O my quickener, and unto the day star of thy guidance lead me, O thou my attractor. Before the revelations of thine invisible spirit summon me to be present, O thou who art my origin and my highest wish, and unto the essence of the fragrance of thy beauty, which thou wilt manifest, cause me to return, O thou who art my God. Potent art thou to do what pleaseth thee. Thou art verily the most exalted, the all-glorious, the all-highest. Bahá'u'lláh.